Greetings, gamers! Welcome to part number 5 of my playthrough Pokemon Colosseum All Shadow Pokemon Run. And in today's episode, first I must walk by this very interesting building where the door is locked and pass this crazy canyon. A dubious walk past this very disgusting rusted bridge. I don't know if I would actually trust that in real life. Ay, 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 that's scary. Take a look down there. It feels like it's going to suck you right in. This crevice runs deep under the ground. You can't even see the bottom from here. You see, Pyrite's an old mining town. That's some pretty cool lore setup, that is.
Arm, I choked. I let victory slip from my grasp at the last knockout challenge. And it's not the last one. It's not just once either. It was the time before, and the time before that, too. If I wasn't a guy, I could cry. Hey, I know what to do. I'll go ask Pyrite's mother. I'll ask her for when I'll finally win that challenge.
I don't think fortune telling is going to help you figure out when you're going to win a challenge, buddy. Get better at the game. All right. Welcome to Pyrite Colosseum. Are you here to register for entry? Yes. I'm sorry, but the current challenge is already underway. Please wait for the next challenge's registration. See, that's just insane. So I have to wait for another challenge registration. I need to heal my Pokemon, actually. Even though I need to, or this is called Pokemon Colosseum. Where's the gym challenges? Where's the Colosseums? I need to fight them. All right, Pokemon are restored to full health. I didn't get here in time to make the registration. I've heard rumors that if you win the challenge, you get an awesome Pokemon like that Kale did. Oh, sheesh. What am I saying? You have to keep that a secret. Pretend you never heard from me, okay? Gamerman, wasn't Kale that guy who was hanging around the town's entrance? We should ask him. He might know something. Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead and ask him. So you do have a save point in here, obviously, with the PC. Lady, get out of my way. Thank you, please. And then the healing station. So the healing station is right across the bridge. The problem is that I think it's just better to use the healing station with the 100 a night from the Super Grand Hotel. It just makes more sense. You're right there. Other than having to run across it, because I used to do this. I used to run across this for healing when I was doing the dual square at the first instance of me entering Pyrite, but, why would I do that? This windmill generates electricity for powering the Colosseum. It may look a little worse for wear, but it's still going strong in active service. Oh, for 30 long years I've spun these gears. Oh, what's with you, younglings? Do you want to spin gears too? Sure. Not to disappoint you, but this isn't a job that anyone can just pick up. Give it another 20 years, then come back. I don't know, man. You don't look like you're old enough to be cranking gears for 30 years. All right. So with Dual Square completed, Pyrite Town is basically rummaged through. I've defeated everybody I need to. Can't go to the Colosseum challenge. All the doors are open because I visited every place. I just have to talk to Kale. Huh? What's that? You're wanting to know if I have a weird Pokemon? If you want to know that much, you may as well see it with your own eyes. Rogue Kale would like to battle. Furret and Ralt. The only thing I don't really care for about in this game concerning the character designs is that the names are kind of strange, but also some of the designs are just really wonky. You can tell that Genius Sonority was trying to do something very different and more adolescent and less childlike in this game, because that's basically what it is. Pokemon Colosseum takes place at a specific time in which it's long enough after the first kids would have played the original Pokemon games that those kids would be in their teenage years, either mid to late teenage years. And that's kind of the point of why it's a little bit darker, dingier, more apocalyptic, and so on and so forth. But some of the character designs just don't... man. Like, for instance, the female bodybuilder. Oh, I could puke. I could absolutely puke how that character looks. There is a way to make a female bodybuilder look like an actual bodybuilder without making, you know, like some chunky looking, non-female looking character. Alright, so I don't remember which is his original Shadow Pokemon. I think Furret might be. That's the logical thing I would say here, because usually the Shadow Pokemon that you catch in this are a much higher level than your Pokemon would be at this current time, as well as a much higher level than the rest of the Pokemon in that person's party. And the reason why this is because that Pokemon cannot level up at all until you have purified said monster. So the issue is that if you have that in your team as a team member and he can't contribute enough damage or whatever because, you know, falling behind in the levels, it's not very useful. So it makes a lot of sense. It actually makes a lot of sense that something like Furret or any of these Pokemon that you would catch are a higher level than the others that you're fighting or the others that you're around. But again, still, it's just the point. It's kind of just a weird decision. It makes sense. Like I said, it makes sense. But this would be alleviated if Shadow Pokemon could just level. I understand what they were trying to go for, but also really doesn't matter either way. I'm just nitpicking. Alright, C-Dot almost got destroyed to a bite from not really that strong of a Pokemon. Because that's the thing, Umbreon might be a great wall, but he has pretty much no offense to speak of. And, you know what? How about let's go ahead and bite you and confuse you. C-Dot is not a dark type like his further evolutions, so you don't really have to worry about that little type mismatch. You know, using a psychic type move on a dark type Pokemon is about the most ignorant thing you can do. At least attacking moves. Alright, Machop. If there was a way to trade evolve in this game without needing another game or another console or a Game Boy or this, that, or the other, Game Boy Advance, I would probably pick up a Machop because I love Machamp. I actually love most of the trade evolution Pokemon, but also I've not been able to really use most of the trade evolution Pokemon in most games. And the reason why that is because they don't let you have them. It's one of the big reasons why Legends Arceus is an amazing game. Now, the story is kind of iffy. Some of the characters are absolutely disgusting. But the gameplay of Legends Arceus is pretty darn cool, especially with the fact that you can have Pokemon like Scizor in the main story. Player defeated Rogue Kale. What? My Shadow Pokemon was beaten? This is when you first find out in the original vanilla playthrough of Pokemon Colosseum that they're called Shadow Pokemon. Bah! That was it? That lying Mirror Bee. He came up with that fancy, tough-sounding name, Shadow Pokemon, but it was no big deal. You guys be careful, too. Don't be played for a sucker. That's about all they'll give you if you win at the Colosseum. Shadow Pokemon? That's what it's called? A Shadow Pokemon? That Pokemon with the black aura.
I trust things are going according to plan, Mirror Bee.
Oh, yes, indeed, Master NASCAR. Our plan is coming along in a lovely peachy keen way. We have already broken Duke King's spirit. We can do as we please at the Colosseum without his meddling. We've been giving away Shadow Pokemon on the sly to challenge winners for gathering data.
Good. The others have also appear to be doing their parts to implement our plan. Our Shadow Pokemon plan is falling into place quite nicely. The final phase is not far off.
Ho, 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 ho. This is perking up my spirit and body. Oh, I feel like dancing.
Save your dancing until our plan succeeds. I'm off.
Okay, then. I shall make my return to the cave, where my darling Pokemon await my return. Let the music play. It looks like the Colosseum has a secret. I guess there's no other choice but to take part in a battle challenge there.
Yep, no other choice whatsoever.
All right, folks, get out of my way. I have important business to attend to, including dealing with an actual Pokemon Colosseum, like Colosseum challenge. Or wait,
Someone, there's trouble. Help me.
it looks like I won't be dealing with the Colosseum quite yet.
The chief's inside. Silva came in.
Ow, 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 ow. That Silva's gone too far this time. He ripped out and ripped off one of the gears. The Colosseum's going to be without power.
Chief, are you all right?
Yeah, the only thing bruised is my pride. It was only Silva, so I wasn't expecting any trouble. Huh? But isn't Silva Duking's trusted lieutenant? What's his motive for doing this? That's what I want to know. He was ranting about how the Colosseum can just shut down or something. Sorry to worry you younglings, thanks. I'll be fine now. But I need to ask for a favor. Will you hear me out? Sure. If the Colosseum loses power, the whole town suffers. I need you to find that gear Silva ran off with. I'm counting on you, younglings. So, what's interesting is this gear is extremely difficult to find if you don't know what you're doing or where you're looking. And you can pretty much scour this entire game and not find it. The obvious spot you would first look is actually right by Duking's. There's a gear literally right here. A worn gear is on the floor. It appears to be junk. You cannot do anything with this gear. Any item in this game that you can pick up and use will always have a little bit of a flashing tinge to it. Right here, you'll see. A flashing tinge. And that's exactly what this is. Gamer found the gear for the windmill. I remember my first couple of playthroughs of this game years and years ago. We're talking about when I was very young. And I was just like, where in the heck is this? I remember having to ask a couple of my brothers to help me look for it because I just could not find it. And it took us hours. I'm not kidding. Just couldn't find it anywhere. And funnily enough, we never once looked in the construction lot, which makes sense why I didn't find it. But that has to do with the fact that the construction lot is so small and seems so insignificant to the plot of the story that you wouldn't think something like that would be hidden there.
Terribly sorry, Chief. You're sure you're okay?
Yup, I'm fine. There's no need for all the worrying.
Good, that's good. But Silva, this is an outrage.
No, I reckon he agonized over this and did it because he thought it was right. I can't blame the man for that. Enough about that, Duking. Instead, I think you should look over there.
What? You people?
I reckon you might be saying thanks, Duking.
That's the gear. You found it for us? What amazing luck. I'll ask you to excuse me for my behavior earlier. You seem to be people who are worthy of trust. You have my sincere thanks.
All right, I'll get you to slot that gear snugly back in that gap where it belongs. Sure. One of the gears is missing. It's the only thing in my key items right now. All done. Standing by. Let it roll. Oh, 30 long years of cranking gears. Oh, yeah. And he's going to be cranking gears hopefully for 30 more. All right, the windmill is up and running. Wow, this is the way it ought to be. Things are fine now. Awesome.
I can tell that you're a man of courage and honor. I have a favor to ask. Will you hear me out?
Sure.
I'm grateful. I want you to enter the next Colosseum battle. I need you to win the knockout challenge and find out what is going on there. I can tell from a glance that you're no ordinary trainer. I know you can win. I'm sorry, but help me, please.
All right, Duking. I think that can be arranged. Now, Chief Sherles is right next to this building.
Mirror B, just you wait. Cheryl's here will set your crooked ways straight.
So I'm supposing they know that Mirror B's been hiding out in that giant building for this while. See, this is what I'm talking about. Police that have no power because they have no capacity to have power. Of course they can do nothing. Mirabee runs and owns this town. Thank you for your patience. The power has been turned back on. I'll be happy to accept your registration for the next challenge. Hello, welcome to the Pyrite Coliseum. Would you like to join a knockout challenge? Sure. Okay, will you be entering with the Pokemon that you have in your party now? Yes. I hope you give it your best and aim for victory. I will absolutely do my darndest. Pyrite Coliseum Battle 1. I adore the Colosseums in this game. It's actually interesting because though this is not Sword and Shield, obviously, it's not going to be easy to get a winning streak going. Hunter Hawks would like to battle. I love the stadiums and the stadium fights, especially the gym battles in Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's a shame that some of that game is kind of very lackluster. Some of it's very much modern, new age nonsense. Because if it wasn't for that, I really feel like that game would be a top tier Pokemon game. Especially with how, oh man, the wild area is so bad in that game. It's so bad. Luckily, I have console games in Pokemon Colosseum and in XD that are always going to be amazing and can never be ruined by the trash that it's being shoveled out by Game Freak in the past 5-10 years. Alright, Barboach, you're gone. So now I just have to deal with Sandshrew. This guy doesn't really have imposing Pokemon, to say the least. Poison Sting. Is he actually going to poison? Nope, no poison. And this will just be a clean sweep, basically. What's cool about the Colosseum challenges is that in between fights, you actually get your Pokemon fully healed up. Power points, status, health, all of it's repaired. Player defeated Hunter Hawks. You're still got a long, long way to go in Pyrite Coliseum. Pyrite Coliseum Battle 2. And it's looking pretty exceptional. A whole bunch of people are surrounding, wanting to enjoy this wonderful, beautiful battle. You're planning to win it all? You know that's impossible. Chaser Tissler would like to battle. And she is going to have Natu and Meditite. Kind of a little bit of a tough fight, you would think, for the two Pokemon I have, because I'm not really super effective against... Well, I am super effective, but you know what I mean. I'm not really, well, I do resist them. What am I thinking? They're both psychic types. One of them's a psychic fighting, one's a psychic flying. They're both going to die pretty quick. So, Confusion on Meditite. This is neutral. Almost, but not quite. And Bite should take out Natu in a single hit. Oh, a critical hit. So, definitely taking you out. I don't know what I was necessarily trying to say there. This is going to be an absolutely easy fight. Confusion on Meditite would be hilarious if he decided to attack Umbreon with that. I've seen the AI do some pretty suspicious things in this game. One of those being doing something like using a move on an opponent's Pokemon that is totally immune. It's typically only something you see when it comes to the immunity of abilities, though. Like, for instance, ground-type moves, and you have Misdreavus. That's why Misdreavus is just so amazing. Oh, wow. You're not half bad, you. Pyrite Coliseum semi-final. Just 2 more battles to partake. You're trying to score an awesome Pokemon, aren't you? It's not going to be easy. Bandana Guy Vilch would like to battle.
Electrike and Cacnea. Yeah, this is kind of my point, is like this guy's name is Filch. What is that? Alright, so Electrike has static, so it's probably for the best to make sure that you attack with non-contact moves against that Pokemon so that you don't get paralyzed. So let's go Bite against Cacnea, whom I don't believe is a Dark type until evolving. Wow, so close to a one-shot, but too far. Howl. Yeah, I don't think that's doing much for you, especially because Electrike is mostly a special attacker. Of course, that line has a lot of normal type moves, but if you're worried about normal type moves off of a non-normal type Pokemon, you kind of really just don't understand Pokemon. It's one of the reasons why I've always thought it was funny when you'll watch playthroughs of folks who recommend having like normal attacks on your non-normal type Pokemon. Unless your Pokemon has an absolute ton of attack, or that's pretty much his only coverage, there is realistically no reason why you would ever have a normal type attack on a Pokemon that is not a normal type. So Umbreon and Espeon are perfect examples. Umbreon has nothing for coverage, Espeon has nothing for coverage. Their best moves are literally Umbreon's Secret Power and Espeon's Return concerning coverage. It's just better for them to be using Bite and Confusion, which I accidentally used Return, so... I mean, Umbreon would probably benefit from, especially if you were going to give him something like Toxic, with Toxic and Confusion, Confuse Ray, so on and so forth. He'd probably benefit more from Return than Secret Power, because we're talking about a power level difference of almost 30 base power. So there is that. But I just like the status of Secret Power alongside the fact that I'm very likely not giving him Toxic, because I'm very likely not keeping him on the team. You need hard-hitting attackers. A wall is okay in Colosseum, but that wall has to do something more than just sit there. Whoa! Hey, maybe you do have what it takes to handle that awesome Pokemon. Pyrite Colosseum Final! And the last battle is about to commence. I cannot wait to utterly smash the competition. Miras, if you can beat me, Master Mirror B could come calling for your services. Bodybuilder Miras would like to battle. Bagon and Goldeen. So he actually has a pseudo-legendary in Bagon, which is actually, I mean, it's pretty cool. You would kind of hope that he would have a Shelgon at the very least, because Bagon, though not the weakest thing ever, is still a first stage Pokemon. Obviously, I'm going to be gunning for him first, because he can still do some pretty significant damage, especially to Espeon, because Espeon has absolutely nothing for defenses. And Umbreon's about to be level 32. Nice. Magnemite. I'm hitting him with Bite. That's not going to do all that much damage. Unfortunately, I don't really have a good move for Magnemite at this current time out of these two Pokemon. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to switch out maybe Umbreon for Quilava. And then I'm going to use Confusion on Espeon to get rid of Goldeen, just in case the AI decides to get cheeky and use a water move against my Quilava, which would not be great. Became confused. That's only a 10% chance. And is Goldeen? Nah, not going to hit himself in Confusion.
So Quillava, go ahead and... So Quillava's going to use Shadow Rush on Magnemite because he's going to get a critical hit. And it's not resisted. Shadow Rush. Confusion. Perfect. Goldeen is down for the count. One more Pokemon on his team after I take out the Magnemite. Level 32 on Umbreon. And level 31 on Espeon. Delibird. This is the Pokemon that you can originally catch on his team, if I am not mistaken. This Delibird could literally be a level 50 and he would still be useless, because that's just how bad, absolutely bad, that Pokemon is. It's one of the things that I find so saddening about Pokemon Colosseum, is that part of the difficulty of this game is that it gives you trash Gen 2 Pokemon for the most part to capture. And there's probably some people out there who would be like, well, I love these Pokemon. Well, yeah, you can love them. I'm not saying you can't. But objectively speaking, they're not good, regardless of whether or not you love them. In fact, I would dare say that your starter Pokemon in Umbreon and Espeon, especially Espeon, is one of the best Pokemon that you can possibly get on your team throughout the entire journey, and you just happen to start with her. Well, I should say start with him, because they're both male Pokemon. It's interesting because those two starters are both forced male. Player defeated Bodybuilder Miras.
You're some kind of strong. Good things could be in store for you.
I just always look at Espeon and think of feminine qualities because Espeon looks like a cat, and cats are very feminine off the bat. Congratulations, you're the champion. You battled fabulously. Please accept your cash prize of 4,848 Poke Dollars. And as a victory prize, please accept this TM06. Yeah, so you get Toxic, and I keep alluding to that fact for a while now. And it's because Toxic is a very good move on somebody like Espeon, or no, Umbreon, if you're going to use Umbreon, because it's just damage that allows you to, rack up, you just eventually rack up so much damage, it's kind of incredible. Time to walk across the shady bridge.
Hi there. You must be the superb trainer who emerged triumphant in our latest battle challenge. Mirabee, the town's true mover and shaker, wishes you to have a gorgeous gift. Now follow me. Right, I'm back with our latest challenge champion. Let's present our lucky winner with a Shadow Pokemon and watch Chaos Unleashed.
Oh, nice one. Our new champ is quite the appealing charmer. It makes a nice change from the parade of macho musclemen. Wait, this isn't happening. This guy, he's that Gamerman guy that Mirabee'd been carrying on about.
What? That same guy who messed with us in Fennec City? Gah! I didn't know that when I let him in here. I'll boot you back out.
Cypher Peon Nor would like to battle. And he has Yanma and Pineco. Not too sure if you actually catch a Shadow Pokemon from this guy. I don't think so in the vanilla game. But that's doesn't really matter. Actually, I think Pineco is the bigger threat here. Yeah, especially if you're going to be attacking Umbreon with a Shadow Rush from your pitiful attack. Alright, Confusion. Pineco doesn't really have special defense to speak of, so down you go pretty darn quickly. And Ninkata. So I actually strongly considered using this on my Pokemon Colosseum team as a catch, because I love Shedinja, I love Ninjask. Wow, I took him out in one hit. The problem with that is that he's too high of a level. You do not want a Shedinja or Ninjask post level 20. So that Ninkata would have to be level 20, or I'd say 19, for that to work out, because of a lot of moves that you're going to miss between now and then. Alright, sending out Surskit. Speed boost on Yanma. Not that big a deal. Not that big a deal at all. Let's go with Secret Power. Bite is resisted here. Supersonic, and you hit with a 55 accurate move. Wow. That's pretty crazy. It's interesting that Synchronize does not work on non-volatile status conditions. It should, in my humble opinion. I really think it should. I think that would make it a far better ability if it worked on things like Confusion. But it does not, and there's no way for me to change that, and there's no way for me to care to change that, even if I could. Alright, speed going up. And Uproar. It's actually a really good, it's a really good normal type move in this game. I'm pretty sure Uproar is... Oh no, I'm thinking of Hyper Voice. Yeah, Uproar is not that good. Never mind. Alright, your Confusion strategy is kind of working, though Speed Boost is pointless on a Pokemon who is not going to take advantage of said Speed Boost. I forget what Uproar does. I know that it wakes you out of sleep. It's too bad it's not like Wake Up Slap. Any move that wakes you up out of sleep, or any move that cures a status infliction as an attacking move against an enemy, should do more damage just because of that little thing. I love that about stuff like Wake Up Slap and Smelling Salts. Very good moves. Player defeated Cypher Peon Nor. It's no surprise now how you managed to win the tournament. Got 1,329 Pokédollars for winning. It's useless. I don't stand a chance of winning. Now hold on. You're the one who brought him here?
Oh, you're safe. I heard you entered this building. It had me worried.
Duking, this is where they were giving Shadow Pokemon to the winners of the battle challenges.
Shadow Pokemon? Those ferocious Pokemon that even attack people?
Yes, they're giving away Shadow Pokemon to thugs for some reason. It doesn't look good.
Urgh. They were using the Colosseum to do that?
Big lady, my Papa's Pokemon was taken away by Mirror B as a prisoner. He did what? Mirror B used a dirty move like that? It's Papa's Plusle. I'm so worried that they might be mean to it.
It's humiliating, but with Plusle in their filthy hands, my own hands are tied.
He's not getting away with this, that rotten Mirror B. But we're here now. We'll get Plusle back for you, right, Gamerman?
Yes.
I know I can always count on you, Gamerman. Duking, it's dangerous inside this building. You've got to get everyone out to safety.
Thanks for everything. I have to depend on you. I have no choice. Be careful always. Mirror B might look like a clown, but his battling is all business.
Yeah, so now we learn the truth behind exactly why it is that Duking just clammed up. Gamerman found an Ein file. I believe this is the very first Ein. Ein file H is written on the file's cover. Read it, sure. Hyper mode. Shadow Pokemon, perhaps because of their own overwhelming power, may behave abnormally at times. They may engage in such behavior as ignoring orders, even turning on their own trainers in battle. This I have named Hyper Mode. On the plus side, Hyper Mode raises the critical ratio of Shadow Rush, however. Hyper Mode also prevents the use of items on the Pokemon. Hyper Mode is easily dispelled. Simply call the Pokemon by name. However, this method has a major drawback. Calling the Shadow Pokemon's name causes the closed door of its heart to loosen and even open. Further research is urgently needed. Shadow Pokemon Lab Chief Ein. Yeah, that's a very interesting bit of information there. Yep, that's the very first Ein file. I was wondering if that was. Unfortunately, this has to be the end of my episode. I want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please upvote and follow, or like and subscribe, depending on your platform. Leave a comment down below. And while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.